Camera pushes through dense jungle canopy. Vietnam, 1968. The sound of distant gunfire echoing through humidity thick enough to drink. Heat oppressive. Temperature exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity 90%. Jungle alive with insects, mosquitoes, leeches, everything designed to drain, to exhaust, to kill slowly. Below ground level, labyrinth of tunnels. Viet Cong network extending miles. Hundreds of miles, actually. Throughout entire province. Throughout entire region. Throughout entire country, almost. Hidden entrances camouflaged perfectly. Deadly traps waiting. Punji stakes poisoned. Tiger pits concealed. Grenade traps triggered. Everything designed to maim. To kill. To terrorize. Above ground, American patrol searches methodically. Looking for tunnel entrance among thousands. Looking for enemy among millions. Looking for advantage in disadvantageous war. Looking for victory in unwinnable conflict. Looking for meaning in meaningless jungle. Private First Class Danny Martinez crouches beside suspicious hole. Small opening barely visible. Diameter maybe 18 inches. Camouflaged perfectly with vegetation. Leaves. Branches. Dirt. Everything natural appearing. Nothing suspicious. Except a trained eye. To experienced eye. To Martinez's eye. He watches carefully. Listens intently. Hears movement below. Faint. Distant. Underground. Enemy inside, definitely. Multiple hostiles, probably. Dangerous, absolutely. Martinez has idea forming. Crazy idea developing. Untested idea crystallizing. His sergeant already banned it twice. Called it stupid repeatedly. Called it dangerous constantly. Called it waste of grenades expensively. Called it violation of doctrine officially. But Martinez sees opportunity now. Sees tactical advantage clearly. Sees possibility of success definitely. He modifies grenade quickly. Unconventional modification certainly. Simple but effective hopefully. Ties paracord carefully. Delays fuse intentionally. Creates chain reaction theoretically. Sergeant sees him working. Shouts orders loudly. Stop that immediately. Follow procedure exactly. Use protocol correctly. Obey regulations always. Martinez ignores deliberately. Just once hopefully. Just this time necessarily. Just prove concept finally. Drops modified grenade carefully. Waits breathlessly. Pulls string precisely. Secondary ignition perfectly. Chain begins cascading. Underground explosions multiple. Cascading destructively. Devastating completely. Entire tunnel network collapsing progressively. Enemy eliminated absolutely. Network destroyed totally. Mission accomplished impossibly. Through banned technique, definitely. Through stupid trick, supposedly. Through disobedience necessarily saving lives, ultimately. In next 30 minutes witness how forbidden innovation became tactical doctrine standard. How stupid trick became standard procedure mandatory. How one soldier's disobedience changed tunnel warfare completely. How banned technique saved battalion entirely. How innovation defeated bureaucracy finally. How necessity mothered invention literally. The story begins now. Actually, finally, completely. Vietnam War 1968. The Tet Offensive recently concluded, but effects lingering. Psychological impact enormous. Military impact significant. Political impact devastating. American forces recovering slowly. Casualties enormous totaling. Morale damaged severely. Strategy questioned fundamentally. But war continues inexorably. Must continue politically. Will continue militarily. Until victory eventually. Until withdrawal inevitably. Until something uncertain. Uncertainty everywhere permeating. Progress unclear constantly. Victory distant increasingly. Enemy resilient surprisingly. Viet Cong fighters absolute masters of guerrilla warfare perfected. Tunnel systems extensive beyond imagination. Underground networks spanning hundreds of miles verified. Siu Chi tunnels most famous internationally. But everywhere tunnels existed. Every province honeycombed. Every district undermined. Every village connected. Underground cities complete. Hidden hospitals functional. Ammunition storage massive. Command center sophisticated. Living quarters comfortable. Training facilities operational. Everything underground hidden. Everything concealed perfectly. Everything deadly absolutely. American forces struggle countering desperately. Conventional tactics ineffective completely. Cannot see enemy hidden. Cannot target positions concealed. Cannot destroy infrastructure underground. Cannot win war impossible. Underground warfare requires innovation desperately. Requires adaptation constantly. Requires thinking differently fundamentally. But military bureaucracy resists instinctively. Procedures established rigidly. Protocols mandated absolutely. Innovation discouraged systematically. Follow orders blindly. Use doctrine religiously. Trust system completely. That is military way traditionally. That is American way bureaucratically. That is institutional way inevitably. Until someone disobeys necessarily. Until someone innovates desperately. Until someone proves better way exists actually. That someone is Martinez eventually. Private First Class Danny Martinez, 22 years old exactly. Born March 15, 1946. From Los Angeles specifically. East LA precisely. Boyle Heights neighborhood. Mexican-American community predominantly. Working class families entirely. Immigrant families mostly. Struggling families constantly. Grew up working always. From childhood practically. Father mechanic professionally. Carlos Martinez. Owned small shop barely. 2-bay garage. Located on Whittier Boulevard. Repaired everything possible. Cars primarily. Motorcycles occasionally. Appliances sometimes. Lawnmowers frequently. Everything mechanical. Everything broken. Everything fixable. Maybe. Carlos taught Danny young. Maybe 8 years. How to use tools properly. How to diagnose problems correctly. How to fix things creatively. Especially creatively. Because parts expensive. Money scarce. Customers poor. Cannot afford factory parts. Cannot buy new components. Must improvise constantly. Must adapt continually. Must overcome perpetually. Danny learned young. Fixing things resourcefully. Improvising solutions creatively. Making do with limited resources necessarily. Creativity required absolutely. Innovation necessary completely. Problem solving essential fundamentally. That childhood training. Those formative years. That practical education. Would save lives eventually. Would change warfare significantly. Would prove invaluable completely. Drafted in 1967. Didn't volunteer willingly. Didn't want war desperately. Draft notice arrived. Selective service. Greetings from President Johnson. Report for induction. No choice given. No deferment available. No escape possible. But served anyway dutifully. Duty calling. Responsibility demanding. Obligation requiring. Family tradition respecting. Father served World War II. Pacific Theater. Guadalcanal. Tarawa. Iwo Jima. Survived. Returned. Never spoke about it. Never explained. Never shared. Just lived quietly. Worked hard. Raised family. That was duty. That was service. That was enough. Danny understood. Accepted. Complied. Basic training Fort Ord, California. 8 weeks intensive. Infantry training rigorous. Weapons qualification extensive. Jungle warfare preparation inadequate. Everything standard procedure. Everything protocol following. Everything by book. Martinez excelled naturally. Natural soldier apparently. Good shot definitely. Quick thinking constantly. Team player always. But questions authority sometimes. Suggests improvements occasionally. Thinks outside doctrine frequently. Instructors notice immediately. Some appreciate innovation. Others irritate deviation. Innovation valued theoretically, but obedience more practically. Martinez learns balance carefully. Mostly obeys outwardly. Sometimes questions privately. Occasionally innovates secretly. That balance, that duality, that tension would define career, would create conflict, would enable innovation. Eventually, Advanced infantry training, additional 8 weeks. Fort Polk, Louisiana. Jungle environment simulated, swamps navigated, heat endured, insects battled, everything preparing. Sort of, not really, cannot prepare adequately for Vietnam reality, for jungle combat, for tunnel warfare, for guerrilla tactics, for enemy invisible, for death everywhere, for fear constant. Training tries nevertheless, teaches basics hopefully, survival skills primarily, combat skills secondarily, psychological preparation inadequately. Martinez absorbs everything, learns quickly, adapts constantly, thinks continuously, about problems, about solutions, about improvements, about innovations, sees training limitations clearly, sees tactical gaps obviously, sees doctrinal weaknesses fundamentally, suggests improvements occasionally, to instructors, to sergeants, to officers. Some listen politely, others dismiss immediately, most ignore completely. Standard response, typical reaction, expected outcome. But Martinez continues thinking, continues analyzing, continues innovating, mentally, privately, constantly, because that is nature, that is training, that is Martinez. Cannot stop thinking, cannot stop improving, cannot stop innovating, even when discouraged, even when dismissed, even when banned, especially when banned. Deployed Vietnam, February 1968. Height of war. Tet Offensive beginning. Chaos everywhere. 1st Infantry Division assigned. Big Red 1 famous. Storied history extensive. World War I service. World War II glory. Now, Vietnam assignment. Martinez assigned 2nd Battalion specifically. Bravo Company exactly. 3rd Platoon precisely. Rifle Squad finally. 11 men total. Sergeant William Bull Henderson commanding authoritatively. Veteran soldier experienced. 3 tours completed. Combat experience extensively. Highly decorated thoroughly. By the book leader absolutely. Follows regulations rigidly. Enforces discipline strictly. Trusts doctrine completely. Distrusts innovation instinctively. He and Martinez clash immediately. First day practically. Personality conflict obvious. Philosophy conflict fundamental. Experience versus innovation. Age versus youth. Doctrine versus creativity. 38 versus 22. 3 tours versus none. Combat veteran versus cherry. Everything different. Everything conflicting. Everything tension. But respect exists nevertheless. Mutual respect grudging. Professional respect developing. Henderson recognizes Martinez's skills eventually. Martinez respects Henderson's experience genuinely. They function adequately. They work effectively. They survive hopefully. Mostly. Usually. Barely. Henderson's background explains rigidity. Career soldier completely. Enlisted in 1948. 20 years service. Seen everything twice. Korea. Lebanon. Vietnam 3 times. Survived everything barely. Lost friends constantly. Watched men die repeatedly. Because mistakes. Because innovations. Because deviations. From doctrine. From protocol. From procedures. Doctrine exists for reasons. Written in blood. Proven in combat. Tested in warfare. Deviation kills. Innovation fails. Protocol saves. That is belief. That is conviction. That is Henderson. Absolutely. Completely. Inflexibly. Martinez represents everything Henderson distrusts. Youth. Inexperience. Confidence. Innovation. Questioning. Thinking. Deviating. Everything dangerous. Everything risky. Everything deadly. But also, Henderson sees something. Potential maybe. Intelligence definitely. Creativity obviously. Reminds Henderson of himself. 20 years ago. Before Korea. Before death. Before rigidity. Before fear replaced confidence. Before survival replaced innovation. Before age killed youth. That bothers Henderson. That memory. That loss. That person. He once was. No longer is. Never will be again. Sees it in Martinez. Hates it, envies it, fears it. For Martinez, because Henderson knows where innovation leads, to death, to failure, to regret, always regret, forever regret, cannot save Martinez from himself, from innovation, from death, but tries anyway, by banning, by restricting, by prohibiting, everything innovative, everything creative, everything Martinez. That creates tension, that fuels conflict, that defines relationship. May 1968. Operations near Siuchi District. Tunnel-dense area notorious. Enemy activity high constantly. Casualties mounting daily. American casualties. South Vietnamese casualties. Civilian casualties. Everyone casualties. 3rd Platoon assigned search and destroy. Standard mission. Routine orders. Find tunnels everywhere. Clear networks deadly. Eliminate enemy invisible. Deadly execution guaranteed. Platoon moves through jungle carefully. Slow progress necessarily. Careful movement mandatory. Every step dangerous potentially. Booby traps everywhere hidden. Punji stakes poisoned. Sharpened bamboo. Feces covered. Infection guaranteed. Tiger pits concealed. 10 feet deep. Spikes bottom. Death assured. Grenade traps triggered. Wire stretched. Pin pulled. Movement detonates. Mines buried. American mines ironically. Captured. Reused. Repositioned. Everything designed to kill. To maim. To terrorize. To demoralize. To defeat. Psychologically. Physically. Completely. Americans advance carefully. Methodically. Professionally. Martinez walks point position, leading squad forward. Most dangerous position. Absolutely most dangerous. First to encounter enemy. First to trigger traps. First to die usually. Statistically. Probably. Almost certainly. But Martinez volunteers repeatedly. Accepts risk willingly. Trusts instincts completely. Good instincts developed. Survival instincts honed. Street instincts transferred. East LA survival. Gang territories navigated. Danger sensed. Threats detected. Death avoided. Similar skills. Different environment. Same principles. Trust feelings. Watch everything. Suspect everyone. Survive always. Martinez applies naturally. Scans jungle constantly. Reads terrain carefully. Detects anomalies quickly. Bent vegetation. Disturbed earth. Unnatural patterns. Wire glinting. Everything noticed. Everything processed. Everything evaluated. Keeps squad alive. Keeps mission progressing. Keeps Martinez living. So far. Today. Maybe tomorrow. Hopefully. He spots signs subtle. 30 meters ahead. Ground disturbed slightly. Vegetation bent unnaturally. Pattern wrong somehow. Tunnel entrance nearby. Maybe. Probably. Almost certainly. Signals squad silently. Hand signals. Everyone stops immediately. Movement ceases. Breathing quiets. Weapons ready. Safety's off. Positions established defensively. Security set perimeter. Everyone waiting. Watching. Listening. Martinez investigates carefully. Approaches slowly. Low crawl. Using vegetation. Maximizing cover. Minimizing exposure. Professional movement. Trained movement. Survival movement. Gets closer. 5 meters. 3 meters. 1 meter. There. Small opening camouflaged. Professional concealment definitely. Viet Song expertise obviously. Years of practice. Decades of experience. Generations of warfare. French first. Americans now. Chinese next maybe. Always someone. Always fighting. Always resisting. Always tunneling. Always surviving. Martinez examines entrance carefully. Diameter 18 inches approximately. Circular opening. Edges worn smooth. Frequently used definitely. Active tunnel certainly. Dangerous absolutely. He listens carefully. Ear near entrance. Hears movement faint. Voice is distant. Vietnamese language. Muffled underwater. Underground, actually. Multiple people, certainly. Conversation casual. Relaxed even. Unaware, maybe. Unsuspecting, probably. Vulnerable, hopefully. Martinez estimates. Squad inside tunnel. Maybe 6 people. Maybe more. Maybe less. Hard to tell. Acoustic distortion. Distance unknown. Depth uncertain. Network extent unmeasured. Could be anything. Could be anywhere. Could be everywhere. Standard procedure clear established. Report finding immediately. Call tunnel rat specifically. Specialized soldiers trained. Unique individual selected. Small men physically. Under 5'5" usually. Brave men psychologically. Crazy men arguably. Volunteers always. Nobody orders. Nobody forces. Nobody mandates. Tunnel fighting optional. Suicide optional. Death optional. Technically, they enter tunnels voluntarily. Clear manually personally. Room by room carefully. Intersection by intersection nervously. Deadly work obviously. Horrible work absolutely. Necessary work arguably. Tactical intelligence valuable. Strategic information priceless. Enemy elimination necessary. That is rationale. That is justification. That is protocol. Call tunnel rats. Wait arrival. Maintain security. Standard procedure. Establish protocol. Henderson's orders. Always Henderson's orders. But Martinez has different idea developing. Been thinking about tunnel problem constantly. Weeks now, months actually, since arriving Vietnam, since seeing tunnels, since understanding challenge. Conventional grenades ineffective completely. Tactics inadequate. Protocol insufficient. Doctrine outdated. Reality different. Textbooks wrong. Training incomplete. Everything inadequate. Throw grenade in entrance. Standard procedure. Approved tactic. Doctrinal response. Grenade explodes. For 0.5 seconds. Fragmentation radius. 5 meters lethal. 15 meters effective, but only near entrance. First chamber maybe. Maybe second. Deeper tunnels untouched completely. Enemy survives safely. Network intact fully. Mission incomplete totally. Tunnel rats required eventually. Hours delay minimum. Enemy escapes meanwhile. Warning others. Collapsing tunnels. Destroying evidence. Escaping untouched. Attacking later. Killing Americans. Surviving war. Unacceptable outcome. Need better method. Need deeper penetration. Need network destruction. Need innovation. Need Martinez. Martinez experimented stateside. Previously. Training downtime. Evening hours. Weekend liberty. Boredom fighting. Played with grenades. Training grenades. Practice grenades. Inert grenades. Blue bodies. No explosive. Safe experimentation. Modified designs creatively. Tied multiple together experimentally. Created chains theoretically. Tested theories safely. Small scale obviously. Safe scale necessarily. Unofficial scale completely. Unauthorized absolutely. But worked. Theoretically anyway. Mathematically certainly. Physically probably. Never combat tested. Never officially approved. Never mentioned to superiors. Never shared. Never reported. Never authorized. Secret knowledge. Private innovation. Personal theory. Until yesterday. Until Henderson caught him. Preparing modified grenade. Training grenade. Practice grenade. But real modification. Real technique. Real innovation. Henderson observed. Demanded explanation. Aggressively. Angrily. Threateningly. Martinez explained reluctantly. Theory development. Design concept. Application potential. Everything technical. Everything theoretical. Everything unofficial. Henderson listened. Carefully actually. Considered seriously. Processed thoroughly. Then rejected completely. Called it stupid. Called it dangerous. Called it waste ordnance. Called it violation doctrine. Called it court-martial offense. Banned technique absolutely. Ordered Martinez explicitly. Never again. Period. Follow protocol. Use doctrine. Obey regulations. Final warning. Understood. Martinez agreed. Reluctantly. Outwardly anyway. Verbally certainly. But mentally. Never. Privately. Disagreed. Silently. Kept thinking. Kept planning. Kept believing. Better way exists. His way. Banned way. Stupid way. Necessary way. Eventually. Now. This moment. This tunnel. This opportunity. Martinez faces decision. Critical decision. Career decision. Life decision. Follow protocol. Call tunnel rats. Wait hours. Enemy escapes. Network survives. Americans die later. Somewhere. Sometime. Someone. Because followed rules. Because obeyed orders. Because protocol. Or disobey orders. Use technique. Test theory. Prove concept. Risk everything. Career. Life. Freedom. Everything. But maybe save lives. Destroy network. Accomplish mission. Validate innovation. Prove Henderson wrong. That matters. Shouldn't matter. But does. Young man. Ego. Pride. Need proving. Need validation. Need recognition. Human. Understandable. Dangerous. But human. Martinez decides. Will use technique. Once. Just once. Just here. Just now. Prove works. Or die trying. Either way. Question answered. Theory tested. Innovation validated. Or invalidated. But tried. That matters. To Martinez. Always matters. Will always matter. Must try. Must test. Must prove. Cannot just obey. Cannot just follow. Cannot just comply. Must innovate. Must create. Must improve. That is Martinez. That is nature. That is destiny. Maybe death. But destiny. He pulls grenades carefully. From vest. From pouches. 3M 67 fragmentation standard. Standard issue. Defensive grenade. 65-meter danger radius. 5-meter kill zone. 4.5-second fuse. Perfect for modification. Perfect for chain. Perfect for innovation. Removes one carefully. Modifies quickly. Practice movements. Muscle memory developed. Stateside practice. Hundreds of repetitions. Training grenades. Safe practice. Real skill. Ties paracord around body carefully. 550 paracord. 7 inner strands. 550-pound test. Military standard. Survival cord. 15 feet length measured. Attache's second grenade. 5 feet down line. Secure knot. Tested knot. Trusted knot. Third grenade attached. 5 feet further. Another knot. Another grenade. Another hope. 3 grenades total. 15 feet coverage. Progressive depth. Chain reaction theory. Sequential detonation. Cascading destruction. Theory anyway. Hope anyway. Prayer anyway. Never tested. Never proven. Never validated. Until now. Until this moment. Until this choice. Henderson sees him working. 50 feet away. Squad position. Observing. Always observing. Recognizes modification immediately. Distinctive pattern. Yesterday's technique. Banned technique. Forbidden innovation. Shouts orders loud. Martinez. Stop. Now. Immediately. What are you doing, soldier? Disobeying direct order. Clear violation. Banned technique. Stop now. Everyone hears. Squad members. Listening. Watching. Understanding. Conflict developing. Authority challenging. Orders disobeying. Protocol violating. Doctrine ignoring. Everything military. Everything hierarchical. Everything order. Being challenged. Being violated. Being ignored. By Martinez. By innovation. By necessity. Maybe. Hopefully. Ultimately. Martinez hears Henderson clearly. Understands words. Comprehends order. Recognizes authority. Knows consequences. Court-martial possible. Demotion probable. Prison potential. dishonorable discharge, career ending, life changing, everything risking, but continues anyway, ignores orders deliberately. First time ever, only time hopefully, maybe last time, fatally, just needs prove concept, just needs demonstrate effectiveness, just needs validate theory. Once, finally, necessarily, then obeys, then complies, then accepts, punishment, consequences, everything, but first, innovation, first, always, necessarily, pulls pin first grenade carefully, spoon releases, fuse ignites, for 0.5 seconds, ticking, burning, counting, death approaching, for someone, for enemy, for Martinez, for theory, unknown, everything unknown, drops in tunnel entrance, grenade falls, tumbles, bounces, settles, underground, first chamber, 5 feet deep, maybe, fuse burning, 3 seconds remaining, 2 seconds, 1 second, 0, detonates, underground explosion, muffled significantly, earth absorbing, dirt containing, tunnel channeling, sound strange, underwater almost, distant definitely, deadly hopefully, smoke rises from entrance, dust billowing, debris spraying, first explosion complete, standard result, standard effect, standard outcome. But then, innovation begins, magic happens, theory proves, Martinez's modification, paracord attached, burning simultaneously, fuse heat, grenade heat, explosion heat, everything heat, nylon burning, melting, igniting, fast burning, 500 degrees, 700 degrees, 1,000 degrees, traveling along string, moving deeper, 5 feet, towards second grenade, hanging, waiting, positioned, 5 feet deeper, 10 feet total, underground, in tunnel, in chamber, in theory, paracord burns, reaches second grenade, ignites fuse, chemical ignition, heat transfer, thermal activation, fuse burning, for 0.5 seconds, counting, descending, exploding, second detonation, deeper, louder somehow, more destructive, more effective, more everything, underground chamber, confined space, overpressure enormous, blast wave devastating, fragmentation multiplied, concrete effect, everything deadly, more deadly, most deadly, enemy inside, standing, running, dying, instantly, horribly, completely, but continues, innovation continuing, chain proceeding, theory proving, paracord still burning, still traveling, still carrying death, deeper, further, lower, 5 feet more, toward third grenade, final grenade, deepest penetration, 15 feet total, unprecedented depth, impossible reach, Martinez reach, innovation reach, necessity reach, paracord reaches, burned grenade surface, ignites fuse, chemical reaction, thermal activation, final countdown, for 0.5 seconds, last hope, final test, ultimate validation, then detonation, third explosion, deepest explosion, most devastating, most effective, most important, 15 feet deep, second chamber, maybe third, network penetration, structural damage, tunnel collapse, network revelation, everything exploding, everything destroying, everything proving, theory validated, innovation confirmed, Martinez vindicated, Henderson watching, shocked, angry, impressed, conflicted, everything, chain reaction complete, 3 explosions, progressive depth, 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, sequential timing, for seconds apart, approximately, cascading destruction, cumulative effect, unprecedented devastation, tunnel network shaken violently, walls cracking everywhere, ceiling collapsing progressively, support structures failing, everything unstable, everything dangerous, everything collapsing. Then, secondary explosions, unexpected explosions, enemy ammunition, cooking off, heat triggered, sympathetic detonation, grenades exploding, small arms ammunition, thousands of rounds, AK-47 ammunition, SKS ammunition, mortars maybe, rockets possibly, everything stored underground, everything cached, everything detonating, now, simultaneously, catastrophically, uncontrollably, cascading destruction, chain continuing, beyond Martinez's chain, beyond 3 grenades, beyond 15 feet, network-wide, system-wide, everything-wide, explosion spreading, room to room, chamber to chamber, section to section, miles potentially, network connected, everything connected, one entrance, multiple exits, all connected, all affected, all destroying, because Martinez, because innovation, because band technique, proving effective, proving necessary, proving everything, ground shakes violently, earthquake sensation, trees vibrating, leaves falling, soldiers staggering, maintaining balance barely, squad members, watching amazement, cannot believe, Martinez's stupid trick, actually working, actually effective, actually devastating, network collapsing, systematically, progressively, completely, smoke pours from tunnel entrance, main entrance, where Grenade entered, but also other entrances, hidden entrances, previously unknown, concealed perfectly, camouflaged expertly, never detected, never found, never suspected, now revealed, smoke marking positions, showing locations, exposing network, dozens of openings appearing throughout area, 100-meter radius, maybe more, all smoking, all revealed, all exposed, entire network visible, massive system obvious, miles probably, definitely miles, all connected definitely, all compromised now, all revealed finally, because band technique, because stupid trick, because disobeyed order, everything visible, everything exposed, everything tactical advantage, intelligence goldmine, strategic revelation, operational opportunity, squad counts openings, marking locations, using smoke grenades, colored smoke, orange, purple, green, yellow, different colors, different locations, mapping network, understanding scope, appreciating scale, one entrance visible originally, 47 entrances total actually, massive network revealed, hidden city exposed, underground infrastructure visible, command center, hospital facility, ammunition depot, living quarters, training facility, everything, years of construction, decades of effort, generations of work, all revealed, all exposed, all vulnerable, because one Grenade, 3 grenades, one soldier, one innovation, one disobedience, everything changed, everything revealed, everything opportunity. Henderson watches, complex emotions warring, anger at disobedience, respect for results, fury at violation, amazement at effectiveness, need punishing, need recognizing, discipline requiring, innovation valuing, bureaucracy demanding, necessity proving, everything conflicting, everything contradicting, everything Henderson. The sergeant approaches Martinez slowly, deliberately, threateningly maybe. Martinez stands, attention position, ready for consequences, ready for punishment, ready for everything, accepts responsibility, accepts violation, accepts everything. Henderson stops, 3 feet separation, stares, long stare, hard stare, evaluating stare, then speaks, quietly, controlled, barely. You disobeyed direct order, clear violation, understood soldier. Martinez responds, yes, sergeant, understood, accept responsibility, ready for consequences. Henderson continues, that was, pause, long pause, Painful pause. Most effective tunnel clearing. Pause again. I've ever seen. Pause longer. In 3 tours. Pause more. But still disobeying. Still court-martial offense. Still violation. But pause dramatic. Results matter. Outcome matters. Effectiveness matters. Will report. Everything. Violation. Results. Everything. Higher decides. Not me. Understand. Martinez nods. Understands. Accepts. Respects. Henderson continues. Now. Mark positions. Call engineers. Document everything. Exploit advantage. Move soldiers. Everyone moves. Orders obeyed. Protocol followed. But everything changed. Authority questioned. Innovation validated. Hierarchy challenged. Results proven. New dynamic established. Martinez proven. Henderson acknowledged. Balance shifted. Slightly. Significantly. Permanently. Engineers called. Arrive quickly. Demolition team. 5 specialists. Lieutenant Morrison commanding. Experienced engineers. Tunnel experienced. Combat experienced. Everything experienced. They assess situation rapidly. Examine entrances carefully. Count locations precisely. 47 confirmed. Estimate network extent. 5 miles minimum. Maybe 10. Maybe more. Massive infrastructure definitely. Years of construction certainly. Strategic importance absolutely. Priority target immediately. Must document. Must destroy. Must exploit. Everything. Morrison questions Martinez. How achieved? How discovered? How destroyed? Martinez explains. Modified grenade technique. Chain reaction theory. Progressive depth penetration. Everything detailed. Everything technical. Everything honest. Morrison listens carefully. Takes notes extensively. Photographs equipment thoroughly. Documents everything precisely. Professional documentation. Military precision. Evidence gathering. For analysis. For evaluation. For replication. Maybe. Hopefully. Eventually. Engineers work. Placing charges. C for plastic explosive. Det cord connections. Blasting caps. Timing mechanisms. Everything expert. Everything precise. Everything deadly. Hours of work. Afternoon passing. Evening approaching. Monsoon coming. Rain threatens. Work accelerates. Must finish. Must detonate. Must destroy. Before rain. Before dark. Before enemy returns. If any survive. Probably some survive. Network large. Some distant. Some escaped. Some survived. They will return. They will fight. They will kill. If possible. Must prevent. Must destroy. Must finish. Finally ready. Everyone withdrawn. Safe distance established. 500 meters. Behind ridgeline. Behind cover. Behind protection. Detonation sequence initiated. Countdown begins. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Detonation. Massive explosion. Enormous explosion. Unprecedented explosion. Entire network. Collapsing simultaneously. Tons of explosives. Thousands of pounds. Everything detonating. Everything destroying. Everything annihilating. Ground shakes violently. Earthquake intensity. Trees falling. Earth cracking. Craters forming. Enormous craters. 50 feet diameter. 20 feet deep. Everywhere. Dozen craters. 20 craters. 30 craters. More. Everywhere network existed. Now craters exist. Devastation absolute. Network destroyed. Enemy eliminated. Mission accomplished. Complete success. Total victory. Strategic triumph. Through innovation. Through disobedience. Through band technique. Through Martinez. Through stupid trick. Becoming brilliant strategy. Becoming tactical doctrine. Becoming everything. Henderson must decide. Final decision. Official decision. Report writing. Martinez's fate determining. After action report. Standard form. Required documentation. Must include everything. Violation. Disobedience. Results. Effectiveness. Innovation. Everything. Henderson writes carefully. Detailed account. Professional language. Military terminology. Objective tone. Mostly. PFC Martinez disobeyed direct order. Clear violation. Regulation ignored. Protocol abandoned. Technique banned previously. Used anyway deliberately. Direct insubordination. Punishable offense. Court-martial potential. But. Results documented. Network destroyed confirmed. Enemy eliminated estimated. 40+ casualties. Maybe more. Innovation demonstrated. Effectiveness proven. Tactical advantage gained. Mission accomplished. Everything recorded. Everything honest. Everything complete. Both sides presented. Violation and results. Failure and success. Disobedience and innovation. Everything documented. Decision higher. Battalion commander decides. Not Henderson. Not company. Battalion level. Colonel Patterson. Combat veteran. 3 wars. Korea. Lebanon. Vietnam twice. Pragmatic leader. Results-oriented. Mission-focused. Not bureaucrat. Not politician. Soldier. Professional soldier. Effective soldier. Reads report carefully. Multiple times. Considers implications thoroughly. Analyze the situation completely. Martinez disobeyed. Clear violation. No argument. No excuse. No justification. Military requires obedience. Commands require following. Orders require obeying. Always. Period. That is military. That is discipline. That is everything. Without obedience. Chaos. Without discipline. Failure. Without hierarchy. Collapse. Everything fundamental. Everything essential. Everything military. Martinez violated. Deliberately. Knowingly. Willfully. Punishment required. Discipline demanded. Example necessary. For others. For order. For military. But innovation saved lives. American lives. Allied lives. Friendly lives. Destroyed network. Eliminated enemy. Accomplished mission. Exceeded expectations. Demonstrated initiative. Proved effectiveness. Innovation matters. Results matter. Victory matters. More than protocol. More than procedure. More than regulation. Sometimes. Rarely. Carefully. But sometimes. This time. Martinez's time. Innovation time. What precedent? What message? What lesson? Punish innovation. Discourage thinking. Enforce conformity. Or encourage initiative. Reward results. Accept innovation. Balanced approach. Necessary approach. Wise approach. Patterson decides. Both. Punishment for violation. Recognition for results. Message sent. Obedience matters. But results matter more. When lives saved. When mission accomplished. When war won. Balance required. Judgment required. Leadership required. Patterson leads. Decision rendered. Martinez receives Article 15. Non-judicial punishment. Company grade level. Minor punishment relatively. Letter of reprimand filed. Loss of pay partial. 30 days duration. $300 total. Teaches lesson clearly. Obedience matters absolutely. Orders require following. Protocol demands respecting. Violation brings consequences. Always brings consequences. Even when successful. Even when effective. Even when right. Lesson learned. Message sent. Discipline maintained. But also simultaneously. Commendation recommended. Bronze Star specifically. Valor in combat. Innovative tactics. Mission success. Lives saved. Enemy destroyed. Network eliminated. Everything positive. Everything recognized. Everything rewarded. 2 messages. Simultaneous messages. Contradictory messages. Balanced messages. Obedience required. Innovation valued. Rules matter. Results matter more. when lives endangered, when mission critical, when war fought, then innovation, then initiative, then results. Trump protocol. Override procedure. Exceed regulation. Sometimes. Carefully. Properly. But sometimes. Martinez proved. Innovation possible. Disobedience necessary. Results matching. Most matching. Finally matching. Everything matching. Martinez accepts both. Punishment and recognition. Understands both. Respects both. Appreciates both. Learned lesson. Important lesson. Critical lesson. Obedience important. Foundation necessary. Discipline required. But innovation necessary. Initiative valued. Thinking encouraged. Balance required. Always balance. Forever balance. Necessarily balance. That lesson. That truth. That Martinez.